Hey, Karen.
Hey, Anita, what's going on?
Well, it's time to do our podcast again. You ready?
I'm ready to do this. Let's go.
Okay, let's go.
Blue wave, we rise to save the day. Only me, only you can let our hearts sail away on a blue wave.
So, this week, we have this is our final episode leading into the Christmas holiday and our Christmas special in a couple of weeks. So, we wanted to kind of take care of some business, and then next time we'll have a little bit of fun. So, I don't know, Anita, if you were able to catch my call to Stephanie today, but with all of this stuff on Twitter, I know you've been getting a lot of troll activity and stuff like that, relating to the situation between Hamas and Israel.
Right.
And so anyway, it just kind of came to me, and nobody's really talking about this. I actually sent a DM to Ben Collins, because he does all that, social media monitoring and the different platforms.
Awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, so I sent him a DM because I said, I just know that, my son, Liam, on his social media, there was this Free Palestine hashtag, for years. Like, this has been several years, right? And you and I both know it's a complicated situation. And
we've talked about this.
Yeah, no easy fixes by any shake. So, but what it made me think about was going back to, the lead into the 2016 election and how, we know that Russia in particular micro-targeted social media users, and kind of used racial divisions.
On the left. They went after the kids on the left.
Exactly.
They manipulated them. My daughter came home and was saying all kinds of stuff about Hillary, like she was going to start World War III, and that, what are better emails. And this stuff was coming out of, stuff that she was getting on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
So it was...
And I think it was, a little bit before, like, you or I knew, like, what's an algorithm, and how do they, how do they do this? And so, and we saw a lot of division between, Bernie supporters and Hillary supporters, and then come to find out, surprise, surprise, even though 80% of Bernie supporters who voted for him in the primaries ended up voting for Hillary. Because what did we say back then? We always said the next president, for no other reason, the next president is going to have the next 3 to 4 Supreme Court justices.
And they called us hysterical. They said we were vote shaming.
Yes, exactly. And so,
it's the same pattern. It's the same thing is happening again. This is a very divisive issue.
Yep.
And it's really ridiculous because picking a side between Hamas and Netanyahu and deciding your vote based on that is just crazy.
Yeah.
It really is crazy because we've got one guy who's willing to try to, pressure Netanyahu to be, to limit civilian deaths. He wants to send aid to Gaza. Mm-hmm. He's doing, he has to embrace Israel to have any credibility with them, right? And then we've got Donald Trump.
Right.
And Donald Trump, who wants a Muslim ban, who wants to kick every Palestinian out of the United States, and also who hates protesters. He threatened to shoot protesters.
Right.
When we had Black Lives Matter protests.
Right.
He was stopped because he had people in the White House that would stop him. He won't have that this if he gets back in there.
Well, right.
He will surround himself with a bunch of crazy yes men.
Yeah.
Who may be even crazier than he is.
Yeah, and we don't have to imagine. He's saying exactly what he's going to do, correct?
Yes, he's telling us.
In the last occupation of the White House, when we had peaceful protesters in Freedom Plaza. Yeah, so
he's warned us. He's told us what he's going to do.
Exactly. He's telling exactly what he's going to do. We saw, during protests, peaceful protests, by the way, in Freedom Plaza. Just to name one, where he had the peaceful protesters fired upon using rubber bullets,
tear gas, bullets. They were trampled on by horses. They were beaten, all because he wanted to take, he wanted a photo op with the Bible in front of that church.
Right.
Imagine what he's going to do when there's nobody there to tell him he can't do this.
Exactly.
Or they're afraid because, he will come after them.
Right.
He's threatening General Milley. He's threatening to have him executed.
Yeah. Yeah. So look, so these protesters that are free right now to protest, whatever their political position, whatever their, whether, if you're protesting for social justice, if you're protesting for climate change, if you're protesting for
reproductive rights.
LGBTQ rights, fill in the blank. Whatever you're protesting, that's going to end. That will end. And the lights are flashing red. The alarms are sounding. That is going to be over. And so, Anita, it would come as no surprise to you that, yes, indeed, I found an article through ISD Global, digital dispatches, and the headline is this: capitalizing on crisis, Russia, China, and Iran use X, or Twitter, to exploit Israel-Hamas information chaos.
Yeah, they know how to divide us.
Absolutely.
This is a very divisive issue. It's very scary.
Yeah. So, of course, with every, episode that we do, we're going to have show notes and links so that people can go to our Twitter account or to our Facebook account, and they can look these articles up themselves. But one of the things that they're saying as far as the methodology, so it says the analysis is based on a qualitative assessment of posts from Facebook and X accounts belonging to Iranian, Russian, and Chinese officials, diplomatic representations, and state media from between 7 and 18 October. So that was, the attack was on the 7th of October. And the list of the state actors consisted of total of 294 Iranian, 623 Russian, and 369 Chinese accounts.
Yeah, that's exactly what we saw in 2016. There's a reason why Russia, China, all these autocratic states, Iran, want Donald Trump back in office.
Yes.
Because first of all, he'll abandon the Ukrainians, right? And that'll send a message to China to go ahead and, take Taiwan, because who's going to stand up to China now?
Mm-hmm.
Same with the rest. Donald Trump is going to leave NATO. He's already said that. He tried to press. He wanted to do that the last time.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people, he was still, he had people around him that stopped him. Mm-hmm. He's not going to have that anymore. If he leaves NATO, Russia's not going to stop with Ukraine.
Right.
They're going to go and they're going to take Poland. And we know how that ends. When, a country like, a fascist demagogue decides that, people are just going to bow down to him and allow him to take something, they're going to just keep on taking and taking and taking. In the United States, what are we going to do then? It matters what happens in Europe.
Yes. Absolutely. No, if we are to fall to fascism, and we know that, our global partners were very worried when Trump was in, and are extremely alarmed by the trends that they're seeing here.
The world will fall apart without us. There's the side of the free countries, the democracies, and there's the other side of the fascist demagogues and not free countries.
Yeah. Well, and I know, Anita, we talked about this, when we were young, I mean, you tend to be idealistic and, kind of, things are a little bit more black and white. And as you get older, right, you start to see, oh, yeah, there are some grays. There's some, there's some pragmatism that goes into, and particularly when you're talking about democracy, right?
Right.
Change is incremental. And it is not something that is sweeping. It's never going to be sweeping. And there has to be, with a democracy, you have to have consensus, right? That's what democracy is all about.
Democracy is messy and it's harder.
Yes.
But it's worth it.
Yes.
There's a lot of Americans who don't ever believe that we're not, that this could happen to us.
Exactly.
Well, that's what a lot of countries. Look at Iran. If you go look at the pictures of Iran in the 1970s.
Right.
The women in miniskirts, for God's sakes. Now they have fully covered.
Yeah.
That woman died because she wasn't wearing a hijab.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, I think that it is, I know that it's very well intentioned. I get the, what is behind it, the intentions behind it, because you don't want anybody suffering. But like I remember saying, telling you that I remember when I would get why do we have to police the world? Why does the U.S. have to police the world? And it's like, now I kind of understand. It's not about policing. It is about holding up democracy and supporting democracy.
It's setting a standard of democracy. And we're not perfect.
No, we're not.
We're always trying to get better.
Yes. Yep.
But we are. But, what do they say? Democracy is the worst type of government except for all the rest.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people just don't understand that most of our lives has been spent in a free country.
Right.
In a democracy.
Yeah.
Our entire lives. So we cannot even imagine what it would be like to live like they do in Russia. Mm-hmm. In Russia, you can't protest. People are getting 10-year sentences for writing something in Facebook. Mm-hmm. Is that the kind of country you want to live in? Right. There's only a small portion of that country that is filthy rich, and those are the people that do Putin's bidding.
Right.
The oligarchs.
Absolutely.
And if they don't, then they're wiped off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Then they fall down a flight of, out of a window or something.
Yeah, citizens are routinely jailed. I know, I believe it was Rachel was talking about that young woman who was put in jail because she put an anti-war message on the price tags in the products, supermarket. Yeah. So this is it.
Resistance.
Little signs. Yeah. And so that is not the kind of system that we want. We don't want to have to worry that anybody that opposes, dear leader is arrested or poisoned,
We're not being hyperbolic either, okay?
No.
Look, Steve Bannon on his podcast, remember, he ran Donald Trump's campaign at one time. He worked in the White House. He's going to be back there again. I guarantee you. If Donald Trump gets back in the White House, he's going to surround himself with people like Steve Bannon and Kash Patel.
Right.
Kash Patel was talking to Steve Bannon. Mm-hmm. They were talking about how they were going to go after the media. Yep. They actually named Joe Scarborough and threatened him by name.
Do you feel highly confident that when you go back and as a senior member of this administration, President Trump's administration, starting in the afternoon of the 20th of January of 2025, do you feel confident that you will be able to deliver the goods, that we can have serious prosecutions and accountability? And I want the Morning Joe producers that watch us and all the producers that watch us, this is just not rhetoric. We're absolutely dead serious. We're not. You cannot have a constitutional republic and allow what these deep staters have done to the country. The deep state, the administrative state, the fourth branch of government never mentioned in the Constitution, is going to be taken apart brick by brick.
Yes. The producers, right?
Yeah.
They are going after any media that criticizes Donald Trump, that criticizes their dear leader, Orange Jesus, or whatever they call him.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, this is really scary.
Yeah.
And the media better figure it out. I mean, I think they're starting to, because you've got the Washington Post, the New York Times, Atlantic Monthly. I can't remember what else, but everybody's talking about this because we're trying to warn people.
Right.
We're trying to warn people because this is actually happening here.
Right.
I know that's hard to believe, but it's actually happening. And young people are going to be affected the most.
Right.
So if young people think that, they're going to go out there and protest for the for the Palestinians, and they're going to put that above their own freedom.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, right, and I mean, and it goes for anything, any protest, any
kind of protest.
any
You're not
government.
going to be able to do that.
They're not going to be able
Your
to do that.
voices will not be heard.
Right. Yeah, it's not. No, it's not. It's not going to be allowed. Speaking out against Trump, it's not going to be allowed.
No, remember he wanted to get SNL off the air. He wanted to get SNL canceled. He went after Jimmy Kimmel. Mm-hmm. He tried to have the DOJ go after Jimmy Kimmel.
I know.
Because Jimmy Kimmel was critical of him.
Right.
A comedian.
Yeah.
He couldn't even handle that. He was angry. Remember SNL? He wanted SNL investigated.
Yeah.
Because SNL made fun of him. We should not be living in a country with a leader that wants to shut down, comedians for making fun of them. That's what happens in Iran. That's what happens in Russia.
I mean, look at back in the day with Chevy Chase. Was it Chevy Chase falling down doing his imitations of Gerald Ford?
They made fun of every president. They made fun of Bill Clinton. Maybe not Obama. He was hard to make fun of.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
They made fun of Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton and I guess Jerry Ford was probably the first one because that's when SNL started.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Jimmy Carter.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is a tradition with SNL and with comedy. I mean, we just had Norman Lear pass away. My gosh, talk about political, commentary, social commentary. He was.
They had Laughing, which made fun of Richard Nixon and what was going on there.
Exactly.
I mean, you think that those reporters that uncovered Watergate would be able to do that under Donald Trump?
Absolutely. And it's not happening.
No, it's not happening. And all these prosecutions, they tried to overthrow the United States government. Okay. He is whining that he's being prosecuted for that.
Yeah.
He stole top secret documents.
Right.
And he hid them in his bathroom in a stage. And then he shared them with some people. And he's whining that he's being prosecuted for that.
Yeah.
This is a man who was so critical of Hillary Clinton because, she couldn't handle classified documents, which she did, by the way. None of that stuff was classified, but that's beside the point.
Right.
He was going to be the best, keeper of classified documents ever.
Right.
And then he goes and you find him laying around in his bathroom or falling out of a closet.
Yeah. I mean, it is. It's like one of those things where you have to just kind of like shake your head and like, just hearing it, like talking about it. You're just
I know. It's unbelievable.
What the fuck are we doing? I mean, what the fuck is happening here? It's just unbelievable.
It really is unbelievable.
Like when you say it out loud. So so you were the one that brought this to my attention with Steve Bannon and Kash Patel. And you named, talked about Joe Scarborough.
So,
I don't know who needs to hear this, but anybody out there that's listening to us, and I don't expect that there are going to be, a lot of Gen Zers that are going to tune in just on their own, but all, the people that,
if you have kids,
grandkids, we have got to,
you need to warn them.
We have to impress upon them. And that goes to understanding that they are utilizing the issues that you care about, the things that are, can be divisive. They are targeting you specifically to give you misinformation about situations.
Because they want Donald Trump to win. They want Donald Trump to win because it benefits them.
Yes.
Because they only want a certain amount of people, the most powerful people, to have, control of everything.
This, along with all future episodes of TruBlu Politics, are sponsored by our wonderful TruBlu crew of listeners and our supporters on Patreon. As a small startup podcast, our Patreon members help us pay the bills to keep the ship sailing smoothly and also allow us to keep investing in the equipment upgrades for even better quality content in the future. And as long as I remember to charge my phone, Anita, everything will go smoothly.
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
We really need an upgrade.
I do.
You need an upgrade.
So, for all of you out there, when you sign up as a monthly TruBlu crew member at even just $5, you instantly unlock our private TruBlu pod chat, as well as ad-free full episodes a day earlier than everyone else. So be one of the cool kids. I don't know about you, but like I always kind of wanted to be one of the cool kids. So
yeah, I never could be one of the cool kids.
I know. I tried.
I never wanted to be.
I tried.
Did you?
Yeah, I had some friends in like the cool kid crew, and I had, kind of the stoners that hung out on the mall.
I think everybody feels like they weren't one of the cool kids.
I think that's about it.
I think
but
always feel like they're not popular or cool or whatever.
Exactly. But in this case, if you join, you can unlock that pod chat. Kid. Yeah, as well as ad-free full episodes a day earlier than everyone else and upwards from there.
And Karen will do a pole dance for you.
No.
Oh.
No.
I thought that's what you said you'd do.
My son's right here.
Oh, sorry, Jimmy.
Oh, God. You know what? Yeah, this is going to have to be a sorry. Yes, and if you subscribe at the $20 level, you'll be able to receive the Sorry Jimmy mug.
Oh. That's right. Yeah, because you'll hear that a lot. And every time you hear that, you get to take another swig of whatever you put in the Jimmy mug.
Yes, for those of you taking shots out there.
Yeah.
You could take a swig of my favorite liquor, Aviation Fine American Gin. Not a sponsor.
Oh, okay. Did you hear that?
Yes. Well, now I know what you're getting for Christmas. So, Anita, if you go higher than the $5 level, we've made more perks available, like having your name shouted out at the end of our show and a personal Zoom call with me and you, Anita.
With me?
Yes.
Wow, that is special.
To discuss ways to overthrow the GOP. Let's do this.
Yes. No insurrections, though. Just the GOP.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And so we do have one special $20 member, and you might know him, Anita.
I think I do know him, vaguely. His name is Bobby. I know him as my brother, Bobby Ferguson. Thank you very much, Bobby. Love you.
And Bobby's going to get some special little perks, like he can have Christmas dinner with Anita, and as well as...
Karen will do a pole dance for you.
No, Anita.
Sorry. I was wondering where I'm supposed to fit that in. Where am I supposed to fit that in?
20.
I thought for $20
yeah,
you would do
Bobby,
a pole dance,
Bobby,
for God's sakes.
Bobby, go to the bank and get 20 singles, okay?
See, there you go. I knew it was coming.
Yeah. All right. So if that interests you all, go visit us in the Patreon app or at patreon.com/TruBlu Politics Podcast. That is patreon.com/TRUBLU Politics Podcast. And as always, thank you so much for
Thank you for listening.
And your love and support, your love and light, Anita.
Yes, love and light and all that other stuff that's meaningless.
All right. Mwah. But we were talking a little bit, too, about that article that you brought to my attention in The Crew that talks about President Trump's legacy of corruption 4 years and 3,700 conflicts of interest later.
3,737.
Yep. Total conflicts.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's just what they could count. What they knew of. Crew.
Yeah.
Could find.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there were hundreds more.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, that whole White House, that whole administration, people forget how corrupt it was. Everybody that worked there had some sort of conflict of interest with whatever department they were running.
Yeah. Yeah. So, in this article, it was at the end of his occupation. It says, after campaigning on the promise that he wouldn't have time to leave the White House or play golf, President Trump visited his properties 547 times while in office, paying 145 visits to Mar-a-Lago, 328 visits to his golf courses, and 33 visits to the Trump Hotel in Washington. He often brought other senior government officials along, sending a message to his administration and those who would like to curry favor with it that his properties are open to their business.
Yeah, they made tons of money off of people having to stay there. Government officials and Secret Service having to stay at his properties. Remember when they went to Scotland and they actually made the Secret Service stay at his one of his resorts.
Yeah.
And then they overcharged them.
Yep.
Overcharged us, the
Yep.
government.
Yep.
I mean, it's unbelievable that they are going after Joe Biden, trying to call him corrupt for like lending his family money. This guy was the whole Trump. It was a Trump crime family. It actually was that.
And it still is. I mean, I'm pretty sure Jared, do you think that Jared and Ivanka have stopped counting the $7 billion?
No, they're still getting paid. They get $25 million a year.
Yeah.
From that sale to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
I mean, that's whatever Saudi Arabia gave them. And then he sold 666 to Qatar, kind of forced them to purchase that by, putting that blockade. I don't know if anybody remembers this, but there was a blockade on Qatar when they pulled out of the 666 deal with Jared Kushner.
Right.
I mean, you want to talk about using foreign policy to benefit yourself financially. That's exactly what these people did all the time.
Right. And what do we always say? They project everything that they're doing.
It's either projection or confession with them.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, so now here we have, Comer with these nonsensical hearings, so Hunter Biden offering, to come in and testify publicly, but no, we can't have that. We need to have him behind closed doors. Well, there's not,
So they can manipulate the testimony. They can leak things to make it seem like, they're going to mislead people. They're just
going to manufacture things and, under the guise of, it was a leak.
Yeah.
Right?
Or they'll go out there in front of the cameras and just lie about it like they did last time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Remember, he had one of his witnesses specifically said Joe Biden didn't talk about business, never talked about it. And they went out there and said, he said he talked to him, 12 times.
No, absolutely. And so, when we talk about the issues, it will, absolutely be, basically killed. Like nothing will be done. Gun violence. Right?
Yeah.
We have, how many mass shootings? We had 2 mass shootings in the last couple of days. One barely was covered because of the Las Vegas.
Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had one here in Texas the same night. This guy was on a shooting spree and killed a couple in their homes and then shot some people in Austin.
Yep.
Yeah. He was a 34-year-old white guy. I don't know, Army guy.
Right.
Right.
I mean, and okay, so then let's go. So abortion access. Right?
Abortion, reproductive rights.
They're already saying national ban. Okay. He has actually said that he will set up DACA camps for the Dreamers. Okay.
Yep.
We are going to, we're going to lose freedom to speak out against our government. And the right-wing hardliners will have carte blanche to do whatever they want globally. And sometimes we do need to look backwards in order to look forwards, right? And
so we don't make the same mistakes.
Right.
Yeah.
So here we are. And in this case, it's pretty recent history, okay? We know what Donald Trump, what that administration looks like, okay? Literally was just a few years ago, okay, when we had lockdowns and people couldn't gather together, and we had body bags piling up out in freezer trucks outside of hospitals. They were like overwhelmed. Hospital healthcare workers overworked, and just
people weren't getting PPE.
Yeah, they weren't exactly.
He was only giving it to red states that were friendly to him.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, and when we look at it even before that, so how was it, that, this micro-targeting that peeled just enough votes away from Hillary Clinton to go to Donald Trump? When you and I were warning as many people as we could about particularly about the Supreme Court justices, right?
Yeah.
So how did, so he was
how did that work out for you?
Yeah, how did that work out? So here's the thing, and not to, look, but let's put it in this context, okay, so that people understand what that meant is. So when President Biden implemented the student loan forgiveness.
The
right?
Supreme Court said no.
Okay. Roe v. Wade.
Yep, they overturned that.
Okay. Affirmative action.
Yeah, they overturned that too.
Okay, and so they did those things, and Clarence Thomas himself, Harlan Crow's buddy, the guy that's getting all kinds of bribes and gifts and everything. So that guy has said that they will not stop there. That overturning Roe sets the precedence so that they will be able to then go after
Griswold.
Yep.
So and Obergefell is gay marriage. And Griswold is contraception. That protects your right to get contraception. And you know what? The majority of Republicans voted against protecting a woman's right to contraception.
And that makes me think back to just this morning when we were listening to Stephanie Miller, and that caller called in and said, why can't these ladies just keep their,
oh my God.
They have birth control. Why are they having abortions? Why do they need to have abortions?
Well, because what about the men?
Yeah, well, as though it's like, look,
it's none of our business.
It's none of our business. Bottom line is, it's none of your damn business. It is not for the government to tell women how they should live their lives. Okay, if you have, and like Jody was talking about, one of her friends who, they were taking birth control and she ended up, getting pregnant or whatever.
But that shouldn't matter.
And it
shouldn't.
No.
And it government should control.
No, but just like if we're gonna take that, right? Okay, but that doesn't matter because, it is still a woman's right. It is still a woman's right, no matter what.
There will be an exception for that, Karen. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I know.
So how would that work?
Exactly.
You go to court and you have to prove that you used contraception and a condom?
Exactly.
Would the guy have to testify to that or something?
Roll the tape. You gotta videotape every sex
maybe
act.
Maybe you should have to videotape all your sexual.
Maybe you should get a hold of your local Republican representative and have him come in and watch you and
make
your
sure that you're doing it.
Partner do
all the precautions.
The nasty and make sure that you're doing everything you're supposed to. Yeah.
Well, they're going to make sodomy illegal too. So that was another one.
Well, there goes my Saturday night.
Tell you what you can do in the bedroom. Huh? What did you say?
I said, well, there goes my Saturday night. Sorry, Jimmy.
Yes. Jimmy, you didn't hear that.
He goes,
your mother's horrible.
He's motioning to me. He's like, I literally can't, Mom.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they want to tell us, and this guy, this MAGA Mike Johnson, he said he has been associated, he's an attorney. He defended groups, domestic terrorist groups that one of whom killed George Tiller, the abortion doctor in Kansas.
Oh yeah.
That was this guy was part of that group.
Yeah.
And guess who defended them? MAGA Mike Johnson. He's really anti-gay. I think we talked about how anti-gay he is before.
Yeah.
He's very anti-gay. So he, there's that. He's also, represented groups that are very anti-LGBTQ. I mean, these people want to turn us into like a theocratic autocracy, like Iran or something. So he's a really scary dude.
Yep.
He said that God sent him, and he needs to be prepared to part the Red Sea, almost like it's an analogy to what he's going to be doing here in the United States. I don't know what that meant, but it didn't sound good.
None of it is good. Everything that they have come
scary.
Out, and they're not even hiding it. Like, that's the thing
no,
that it is like mind-boggling to me that anybody is sitting there, spending time massaging and kind of, like all this stuff that in the end is not going to matter one little bit. There is the number one issue, and that is saving our democracy. And, President Biden is on the right side of this, right? He has already said.
Yes.
Right?
And let's talk about the things that could happen if we elect enough Democrats and we reelect Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you and I were talking about this earlier. So, child tax credit.
Yeah, you know that extra $250 or $300 a month you were getting?
Mm-hmm.
We can do that again.
Yep.
The only reason why that was taken away was because Republicans.
Yep.
Okay?
Ensuring voting rights.
Voting rights.
Mm-hmm.
Expand the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare.
Yep. Codify Roe v. Wade.
Codify Roe v. Wade,
Mm-hmm.
And all these different things.
Yep.
That we're going to lose. This is about freedom.
Right.
That's what this is really about.
Yeah, it was interesting, Anita. I was at a closing, and we were kind of sitting around waiting for everything to come through, all the monies and everything to come through. And I was talking to this attorney, and she, in talking to her, I gathered that she was a little bit, she's more liberal minded. But she said that she ended up going, and it was after the theater shooting in Colorado. Wasn't it Colorado Springs?
It was Aurora.
Or Aurora, yes, thank you. So anyway, so she was talking about how that prompted her to go and get her permit and take training. And so I pointed out to her, I said, except for the fact, I said, this is the problem, though, with that there were people in that theater that had guns.
Oh, yeah. There would have been like a shootout.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows who would have been.
And not only that, but, and people that are like extremely well trained and how to handle firearms. Yes. And they go through hours and hours and they do the desensitization training and everything. What they, I remember listening to this expert, and he goes, what we have to go through is to like be able to get rid of what naturally occurs is this tunnel vision.
Oh yeah, they've shown like examples of that where people aren't told that this was going to happen, and then a gunman comes in, and they're just like, because it's not. I mean, everybody thinks they're going to just whip out their gun and they're going to be able to shoot down the gunman. Mm-hmm. But even in Arizona, where when Gabby Giffords was shot, and there was somebody there with a gun, and he said, "I almost shot the woman that was was taking the gun away from the guy."
Exactly. Yeah, because then here you have police coming up on a scene, and they have no idea who the good guy with the gun is.
They have no idea.
They have no idea. And it's all you have is you're adding bullets to the, to the situation.
That's why kids come out with their arms up.
Yeah.
Because the gun, so that the cops, so they can come up and there's like, don't shoot, because I'm just, even these little, even the kids in Sandy Hook came out with their arms up. It was so sad.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're coming up to that anniversary. What a horrible, horrible.
I know.
So, so let's, so we talked on, like what we can do, if Joe Biden is put back in, and so what are some of the other things? Because, of course, there was potential progress made, despite the fact that there was like a extremely razor thin majority for Democrats the first 2 years.
Yeah, it's amazing what Biden got done. We can see the the results. Mm-hmm. Look at the economy, and everybody acts like they're so shocked and so perplexed that we never had a recession. Yeah. It looks like we're going to be doing pretty good. We had 5.2% GDP. That's amazing.
Right.
We're beating China for the first time in 40 years. Mm-hmm. We've got infrastructure all over the place. I mean, there's so many good things happening. And by the way, I'm going to say this again, because 90% of the people in that one poll I saw on Morning Joe don't know or believe that their wages aren't keeping up with inflation. Wages have surpassed inflation. Mm-hmm. Wages growth was like 4.4, and inflation is at 3.2. So inflation is going down, wages are going up.
Right. And these are
very low unemployment.
Right. And if I can just say, these are all things that Republican voters say that they care about. These are all things that, like, Republicans, when they were running, they cared so much about, inflation and all this, I mean, so they say that this is stuff that they care about. But
they voted against the bill that would protect consumers from price gouging.
Yep.
They voted against the Inflation Reduction Act. Mm-hmm. These people never never did anything to curb inflation. You know what they have done? They censored Adam Schiff.
Yeah.
And then they censored, what's his name, for pulling the fire alarm. They did
Yeah.
that today.
Yeah.
They had an impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden for crimes to be
Jamal Bowman, I believe, wasn't it?
Jamal Bowman.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what they've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. They did try to pass that thing about gas stoves that they said Biden was going to take our gas stoves.
Oh my God.
So they couldn't get enough votes for that, but they almost did.
Yeah.
Oh, they also got rid of a speaker and then another speaker.
And then another speaker.
And now they got MAGA Mike, who they didn't vet.
Yeah.
Just like Denny Hastert.
Yeah. Yeah. And okay, so now let me ask you real quick. Okay. So now we have George Santos. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thanks now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Okay, so he's gone.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so that brings down the count in the House by 1. Okay, so and then we have Kevin McCarthy.
Well, George Santos' seat, which the governor of New York has already set a date for that, is most likely, almost, probably going to be filled by a Democrat.
Right.
Now.
Right.
So that's going to bring it. They're only going to have a 2-seat majority. What's happening in California?
Yes.
Gavin Newsom is in no hurry to replace Kevin McCarthy.
Nope.
Because that seat is in Bakersville.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is the worst city in California. But so it's going to be a 2-seat. They're only going to have a 2-seat majority. So they better. I don't know.
Yeah.
If they can get every single vote for what they want to do.
Yeah.
But it's going to be tough.
Yeah. Wasn't Kevin McCarthy, kind of touted as like one of the rising stars along with Paul Ryan and
the Young Guns.
Yeah, the Young Guns. Yeah.
Eric Cantor. Yeah, those are the Young Guns, Karen.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were like 50, but they were the Young Guns.
Yep.
When it came to the Republican Party.
Yeah.
They were all white.
Yeah. Here you go.
Of course.
Yeah, here you go. So, it could be very interesting. And then somebody was talking about rumors. Did you hear this one? Somebody was talking about the rumors that there's also some other Republicans that have been talking about.
I've heard that
skedaddling.
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that too. But also, none of them can be sick now because if they're not there, they're not there, they're not going to have enough votes to do anything. So they better be careful because COVID's going around.
Well, and not only that, but maybe some X-Lax, some those yummy chocolate bars, and somebody's hot cocoa.
Yeah, if there's a big vote coming up.
Yeah, it's like
give that to Marge.
Yeah, Marge is in the P-should-do. We're gonna put up a vote for.
Yes, something important.
Something important.
Because we only need a majority to get something passed in the House.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? These guys have done such a terrible job. They really have gotten nothing done. But they have been, except for what Donald Trump is telling them to do, which is impeach Joe Biden because, he was impeached. So therefore, Joe Biden has to be impeached. They want impeachment to be meaningless because they're the ones who are always doing all the corruption. Yeah. Right? So they want it to mean nothing.
Yeah.
And they want to dirty up Joe Biden so people will just they're both corrupt. I don't know what to think. Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah.
Joe Biden has been in politics for 50 years.
Yeah.
Do you think all of a sudden he sold out to China for $4,000?
No.
I mean, seriously, guys.
No.
No,
but anybody that's buying that, the people that are buying that are like so far down the rabbit hole. It's like, they're going to believe,
That's true. But there are some people that I've heard say, oh, what about Hunter Biden? Or what about Joe Biden doing this? And, this guy rode the train every day to work when he was a senator with his little sack lunch, talking everybody's ear off.
Yeah.
Because Joe Biden was known for that.
Yeah.
And, just friendly as could be, taking the train back and forth because he wanted to be with his sons who were, lost their mother in a tragic car accident,
And their
lost
sister.
their mother and their sister,
Yeah.
their baby sister. And both boys, Hunter and Bo, were really badly wounded, were badly hurt in that crash.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been through a lot.
Absolutely. I'd like to end it with a really positive note, a positive story. And Anita, you were telling me about a caller that called into Randy Rhodes today.
Oh yeah, there was a guy from Wasilla, Alaska, 65 years old. He said, "I'm 65 years old, and I've never really cared about politics, never paid attention, never voted. But you know what? And Randy Rhodes is a progressive media person. He goes, now, you know what? I'm starting to pay attention. And he's seeing what's really going on now.
And he said that
At 65 years old.
And she was instrumental
she was instrumental in helping him see that, because Randy's pretty good about that. Yeah, that was a good story. And I'm hoping there's more people like this man from Wasilla.
Yeah, so
Alaska.
I think that ultimately,
I mean, Willow,
yeah,
Alaska.
wasn't Sarah Palin's neighbor.
It was probably Sarah Palin. Yes.
So
Father.
that to me, Anita, that is like the perfect story and just really illustrates why it is so important for us to have conversations and for us to have all of these voices. We have so many great voices. You and I are regular callers into Stephanie Miller. We listen to Randy Rhodes. We listen to Hal Sparks. We listen to, we hear Bob Seska, Dino Badala, Kimberly Johnson, Frangela, of course, Jody when she had her podcast. And, the thing of it is, it's like, yes, we all kind of marinate in the same, water, watch a lot of the same sources, but
then we become the messengers.
Then we
get
become
that information.
Exactly. And so look, so what's great is that, you have all of these different voices and everybody has their own take and everybody has their own way to speak about it, express it. So then when we all, our listeners, all of the, the way more, all of the other
Informed
listeners that, that listen to all of these other people that we listen to, what it provides them with is a way to have the information and know how to talk about it. And maybe they don't feel comfortable. They can't come up with the words themselves. But even if you just kind of like, memorize or, something that really sinks in with you, and you're able to then go out and amplify that exact talking point.
It is so important that you talk to people that you know, because that is actually, they found the most effective way to reach people to vote, for your side.
Right. Talk about grassroots, right?
Yeah.
Talk about grassroots.
Well, they found out it's more important than those people that would call and they don't know you.
Yeah.
But if it's your neighbor,
right,
you're going to listen.
Absolutely. And so then you have, Mr. Joe from Alaska, 65 years old. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's what it's all about. That's what why we're doing this. This is what we want to accomplish in the next several months leading into the general election.
We have to save our democracy.
Yeah.
We have to.
Absolutely. So, yeah. And in the meantime, we have to bake Christmas cookies and...
Christmas cookies. I'm going to make gingerbread cookies this year.
Are you?
Can't wait.
I'm not a
Me
big...
and Maya.
Jim, my kids can attest to the fact that I'm not the big baker. I'm not the big cookie baker.
I'm not either, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, my mom was. That was her
My mom wasn't.
thing.
She burned everything.
Did she? Oh,
yeah. Yeah. Well, she did make pretty good Pillsbury cookies.
You know what? There is nothing wrong with just getting a roll of sugar, sugar cookie dough.
Oh my God, those
and
are
making
nasty.
cutouts. We did it like with my mom from scratch.
Those are all sugar.
Oh yeah, but they're delicious.
I make way better sugar cookies.
I do too.
Pillsbury.
Yeah, my mom had a great recipe, and we would do it, and it was a big project. It was a lot.
Yeah, it is messy.
It's messy.
Yeah, but you know what? It can be time with your daughter or your mother. And,
yep. Oh, no, I wouldn't. You know what? Listen, and you and I both are real raw at this time of year in particular.
Yeah.
But, I wouldn't trade those hours for anything in the world.
No.
Right.
Of course not. No.
Right.
Even if my mother always did burn everything.
Yeah. But she,
Even the Pillsbury
she was
cookies,
the
to be
best
honest
at,
with you.
she was the best at,
with you.
she was the best at burning it though.
She was the best at being a mom.
Yep.
She was really.
Yes.
So it didn't matter. She
Yes.
burnt the cookies, did it?
No, it did not. And here's to our moms.
Yes, here's to moms.
Yep. So Anita, well, listen, it's been great talking to you. And
it's always great talking to you, Karen.
You know,
I love our times. We share this time together just to have a laugh, or
sing a song. Yep.
Before we just get started.
And before you know it,
it's a
time we have to say so long.
So long, everybody.
So long, everybody.